Perfect. So good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our first virtual house or open house. Tonight's presentation, we're going to focus on our incoming grade 6s, but it doesn't mean that there won't be information for any incoming student, no matter what grade they're in. It's just the main focus for tonight would be some of our grade 6 students that will be joining us next year. In a normal year, we'd normally start with some students kind of talking to you about their experience here at North Dundas and what it means to them and how they found it. But obviously this is a very different year with very different circumstances. What we've done is we've produced a video that we would like to show you to start out and kind of just give you an introduction to life here at North Dundas. So just bear with me for a second and I'll share it onto your screen and you should be able to watch it. It's about 6 minutes long, the video. Oh, I'm just going to check one thing because we had an issue when I did this before. Sorry, I do apologize. Let me do it one more time. I have to make sure the sound is turned on, otherwise you won't be hearing anything. There we go, it's turned on now.
Hi, I'm Delaney Johnson and I'm the 2020-2021 Prime Minister. Our student council consists of 6 members and we represent our student body. We interact with our students here at ND to ensure that everyone is getting the best experience possible. Due to the certain circumstances, we have been trying to ensure that both synchronous and asynchronous students are able to participate in the many spirit days that take place, such as our semi-formal days, funky socks, and our PJs. That's just to name a few.
Hi, I'm Lucas. I'm in the 12th grade at North Dundas. I'm part of the Ag Schism. The Ag Schism is just a program that we run here at North Dundas, and it gives you the opportunity to do certifications in the ag world.
Jamin, do you feel that technology courses are important in high school?
Yes, I think technology classes are very important because you're really getting that hands-on learning. Good, I got accepted into Algonquin for electrical engineering technician just yesterday actually, so it's looking pretty good. Now I just have to accept and I'll be on my way to Algonquin next year.
Here at North Dundas, we have a great community building experience. With all our amazing teachers, we have a wide variety of extracurricular activities such as band or sports that will augment your 7 to 12 experience here at North Dundas.
Our fitness room here at North Dundas is equipped with everything you need to break a sweat. We have everything from treadmills to free weights to weight machines to yoga mats and lots of open floor space to suit every fitness level.
The teaching staff in North Dundas are very considerate and always take time to listen to our concerns and ideas. They really care about each individual student and bring the best out in each of us.
In grade 7, right through to graduation in grade 12, our school provides a caring community to help support your child's personal and academic needs. We have a comprehensive English program, as well as both core and French immersion, where we continue to offer an in-person 10-credit course package to achieve the French immersion certificate. Our incredible science department builds on the general junior sciences and continues to offer in-person programming in biology, chemistry, and physics at the college and university levels.
Teachers put a lot of effort into making their classes fun and interesting. I really feel like they have gone above and beyond to make me feel ready for high school.
There is also such a positive environment here at North Dundas. I love the fact that we have learned so many new skills in sports and gym because of the passion the teachers bring to the class. North Dundas is so fortunate to have a great fitness room as well as an amazing gym.
Not to mention the huge recess yard with a soccer field, baseball diamond, and basketball net.
The humanities courses here at North Dundas has especially encouraged me to learn more about the Canadian heritage and the story of the nation itself, and has even made me who I am today. And as I was able to find myself and my own personality and be able to understand the full Canadian culture.
Let's stop by our science department and see some of the amazing things that you're going to do when you take science at North Dundas.
Exploring chemical reactions, building models of matter, growing and investigating plants in our greenhouse, studying the motion of a free throw using technology, joining the cast and crew of our Halloween chemical demonstration show, looking at things on a whole new level, building electrical circuits, having fun with static electricity, learning about the properties of light and their applications.
And of course, amazing demonstrations. Wow, even our science books will get you fired up.
Anthropology, civics, geography, history, native studies, psychology, sociology, there are a lot of subjects to choose from.
At North Dundas, we know that students remember what they do more than what they see and hear.
Room on the intermediate floor where students can get some extra help, more time on an assignment, and even just a quiet place when you're having a bad day. This is also where we have the breakfast club in the past. Many students can enjoy some toast, fruit, or even a warm panini.
Perfect. Just let me get back here. There. So I'm sorry if it was a little glitchy. I got a couple of messages saying it was a little glitchy. We will put that video up on our website as well, where you'll be able to actually grab it. And hopefully if it was glitchy for you, if you're interested, you can watch it again. So I'm sorry I didn't introduce myself earlier, but my name's Christopher Bourne. I'm the principal here at North Dundas. We also have Mr. Barch, who is on the line. He's kind of monitoring our chats if any questions come up. And we have Miss Tate as well, along with some of our teachers have kind of popped on and off as we go through tonight. The next part of the video, of our presentation, is we're going to go through a brief presentation that I normally would go through in a normal open house. And it normally answers quite a lot of the questions that you might have as you're kind of coming forward, like coming towards entering high school and kind of what it's going to be like at North Dundas. So I'm going to share just a presentation slide deck. The second slide is actually the teachers that you're going to kind of see when you enter grade 7. And we'll kind of just briefly go through who will be in the building, and then we'll kind of go through and answer. The final part of this evening is going to be a question and answer. I do have some frequently asked questions. We'll go through those, but also it's a chance for you to kind of ask any questions that you might have, and we're going to do our very best to answer them. You can either type them in the chat when we get to that point, or we'll also, I'll unmute so you'll be able to ask the question if you're brave enough to do it by voice, but typing it in the chat bar is completely fine as well. So just give me 1 second where I'm just going to share the presentation and then we'll kind of walk through that. There we go. Perfect. So this is our intermediate staff. So as a school, we have about 475 students kind of registered for next year at this point, with about just under 50 staff in total for the high school. These are the people you're going to see when you come into grade 7 the most. So this is a mixture of teachers and educational assistants that we have. Hopefully we'll have all those people. There's always a bit of change from year to year, but these would be the people you're most likely to see. And the people in our building right now. You can see myself down on the bottom there with Mr. Barch, our vice principal. And then right above is Miss Tate and Miss Bird, and they're the two office administrators who work in the office downstairs. So you'll actually bump into them quite a bit. Even though you're upstairs most of the time, you will definitely see those two ladies quite a bit. And they're fantastic. If you have any issues or any problems, to kind of talk to them, they'll definitely direct you to the right place. So some of the basics, and the difficulty with putting this presentation together today is there's an awful lot that can happen between now and next September when I'm talking about COVID adjustments. And I'm sure you all know in grade 6 that this year has been a very different year when we talk about cohorting and some of the different rules that you have to follow at school. At this point, we don't know what all the rules are going to be for next September. What we do know is that we're going to be ready for you either way. So as I put this presentation together, I tried to think of what the most likely thing is, what we normally do for grade 7s and 8s, and then kind of with the little caveat of it might be different depending on what some of the public health rules are that we need to abide by. But it'll give you a pretty good idea. And the number one thing that we have is intermediate classes are all on the 2nd floor. So here at the high school, we have 2 floors. The downstairs floor is the biggest. There's an extra couple halls, but there's the upstairs floor as well. And all the grades 7 and 8 classes are on the 2nd floor. All the high school classes or the secondary classes, they're on the 1st floor. There are some exceptions though. Things like the cafeteria is downstairs, and on a normal year, both grade 7 and 8 and grade 9 to 12 both use the cafeteria, just at different times. The gym is down here, and as a grade 7, 8 student, you will use the gym. You will have dedicated gym classes every single day, and you'll be using the gym. And then we also have the music and the fitness rooms downstairs that grade 7, 8 classes use occasionally when they're with their teacher. So they are spaces you'll be down there. But pretty much if you're down on the 1st floor, you're either accompanied by your teacher or it's because you've been called down to the office because maybe your mom and dad are coming to pick you up. Or you had to come down and talk to someone down here. But that would probably be the only reason why you're down here, with the exception of the gym and the cafeteria. Intermediate and secondary students also have separate entrances for arrival and dismissal when they get here on the bus. Now this year it was a little different as well because with COVID we had a whole bunch of different entrances. So we used a bunch of entrances that we haven't used in the past. We don't know exactly what that looks like, but what we do is we separate our grade 7 and 8 away from our grade 9 and 12 once they're here in the building, and that starts right from the entrances that they use to join us in the morning and that they leave from in the afternoon to get loaded onto the bus. Both groups do use the cafeteria in a normal year. This year, again, as I'm sure you're eating in your classrooms, which might have been the normal in your school that you're coming to us from, but a normal year in North Dundas, grade 7, 8s would eat in the cafeteria. This year we had to change that, and students had to eat in their classroom. We don't know what it looks like next year. At some point of your career as a grade 7 and 8 student, we fully anticipate that you will be using the cafeteria. There is food to buy in the cafeteria. You have full access to that. We just don't know if it'll be in September or maybe a little later on in the year. And that's fully dependent on kind of the rules that are given to us. And finally, students are assigned to lockers. So grade 7 and 8 students do have lockers here at North Dundas. Again, though, this year it was a little different, and we haven't used the lockers for grade 7, 8 or for grade 9 to 12 this year due to the health protocols. Next year, we're hoping that we can use them. We're just not sure yet. I know a big question that always comes up is the combination lock. and whether you can use them or not. If we feel that we're going to be starting with lockers in September, we will arrange for students that might be a little nervous about the combination lock to get those to you earlier so you can kind of practice with them before you actually start here at North Dundas. And the biggest thing is, don't worry if you have to ask someone to help you get into your locker. Mr. Barch and myself and all the teachers and EAs upstairs are very, very used to the first couple weeks having to open multiple lockers. You will not be the only one to ask us. Don't feel embarrassed about it, especially for most students. It's the first time you're using a combination lock. There's also the ability to have single combination locks or keyed locks if that is more appropriate for you as a student, or if parents feel that would be more appropriate, we can arrange that as well. So there is lots of options for the lockers. Hopefully we'll get to use them. We just don't know yet at what point we'll be allowed to use them again. So the next thing to look at is just our intermediate schedule. So the way it looks is basically the day is split into two. You'd have we just call it the academic side of the day, but it would include your math, your language class, so like your English, and your science class. So that would be one half of the day. The other half of the day is the non-academic / French immersion side. And all that means is we're doing the social sciences, so your history and geography, your phys ed, health, French, the arts, so your visual, dance, drama, and music. So all those would be in the other half of the day. Some students will have the non-academic side in the morning, others will have it in the afternoon. This schedule does depend an awful lot on what kind of the COVID situation and some of the restrictions are as we approach September, what exactly it looks like. But no matter what the protocols are, you'll still follow that same formula. So you'll have a block of morning classes, then there's a lunch and a recess, and then there's a block of afternoon classes. And that's not going to change. Whether they flip back and forth, we're just unsure right now. But the general structure will stay the same. You'll notice there's lunch for group A is from 10:30 to 11, and then they go outside for recess from 11 to 11:30. And it's flipped with group B. And this was something that actually started this year with COVID, and it has worked extremely well, and we'll be looking to implement it again next year, is we just have it split into two groups. It gives everyone a lot more room on the yard and in the cafeteria, so we're not all crammed together. So it will look like that. Who is group A and group B, we haven't determined yet, and we'll kind of look at that as we get closer to the start date in September. So extracurriculars in a normal year, and again, I know you've probably been missing it in your school right now. We have definitely been missing it here at the high school. There's so many amazing things that go on here outside of just classes, and that's a huge part of school life. And we can't wait to kind of get some of these activities started back up again. So you'll look there on the intermediate side of things, so in grade 7 and 8, when we talk about sports, we've got cross country, soccer, volleyball, basketball, and track and field as our main sports. We have clubs. There's web, indigenous, art, homework, gardening. We've got after school for credit programs. So we depending on the year and which teachers we have offered the music program. So it's instrumental band for students so that they can actually get a grade 9 credit when they're in grade 7 and 8. So it's kind of, you do it after school, and it's so many days a week. You have to put in so many hours, but you actually get credits for your high school graduation. So when you start grade 9, you're already ahead. You could have 1 or 2 credits already kind of in the bank towards graduation. Clubs, there's all sorts of clubs, and I've listed a few that we've had. Web, which I'll talk about in a minute, but an indigenous club, there's the art club, homework club, gardening club, but that's just an example of some of the clubs. If you have an idea for a club, or maybe a club that you've had at the school that you're at now, or even something that's of interest to you, it's really important that you let us know. The nice thing about when you come to the high school is you're not just with the students that you've gone to school with so far. There's 2 other schools plus other people that have moved into the area that are joining us. So there might be other people that are interested in the same things that you are, and a teacher that's interested. We have a lot of staff. And if we can get a clubs kind of up and going in an area that you might be interested in, we're super excited and happy to do that. So if you have an idea for a club, it's really important you kind of share that with us, let us know, and we will do what we can to kind of get it started for you. So they're just a couple examples. You'll notice in secondary, again, same sort of sports, same thing with clubs. There's just a number of different, there tend to be a few more on the secondary side, but it doesn't have to be that way. Definitely, if you have some ideas for some extracurricular things that maybe we haven't listed, please talk to us, bring it up. We'd love to see if we could make that work for you. The breakfast club and snack cart. So these are things that we have. We've even been able to do it this year, a little different this year because there was different protocols, but they're available for both our intermediate and secondary students. And we know the big change that you're going to find next year is our start time, right? Getting up or being here for 8 o'clock is a big change. It means you're going to be up pretty early, on the bus pretty early, and sometimes that means you don't get a chance to have breakfast in the morning. Well, in the intermediate side of things, we actually have a amazing breakfast program that we do every day. This year it looks different, but in a normal year, and assuming next year will be normal at some point, then we'll be able to start that back up. And it's a program where there is a variety of different things each morning. So you meet in a classroom, you kind of get whatever food, and it's open to everybody. And a large number of our students use it, because when you get up at 7 in the morning, you just might not feel like breakfast at that point, but when you get here, then you've kind of been moving around, you start getting hungry. Some of the menu things we're talking about: toast and jam, yogurt, fruit, orange juice. Sometimes we have smoothies, bagels, fruit salads, muffins, paninis, sometimes grilled cheese. Like they really try and mix it up and have all sorts of things that are available to you. Secondary students, same sort of idea. It's just served at a slightly different time of the day, kind of in between periods 1 and 2, but it's also served and it's free of charge to students. It's just there to support you if you're at all hungry. You don't have to be a student of need or anything. It is open to all our students all the time. If you're hungry, there's food for you, and healthy, nutritious food. Some supports. So as you move into grade 7 and 8 and then up into grade 9 and 10, sometimes you might need some help. Right? Whether it be for schoolwork, whether it be for social issues, friend issues, things like that. And we have a bunch of supports in place to help you out. In the intermediate division, so in grade 7 and 8, it's called the Power Up program. And you would have seen on that video kind of the student support room. I think one of the students was speaking in front of it, and that's our special room that we have. This year we've actually kind of expanded it to 3 separate rooms, 3 separate spaces that we have to support you. So it's a separate space staffed by our special education teachers, so Mrs. Weiermars, and EAs to support various students in their courses. The big thing here is you don't need to have an IEP to access it. It's for anyone that needs help with something at some point. Oftentimes it's academic stuff, so maybe it might be you were away for a test and you have to kind of catch up, or you're away and you're kind of working on a project. Sometimes it's just a quiet space when you need it. Sometimes it's just someone to talk to if something's bothering you. But we have that Power Up program set up, and it's set up all the time. It's open for the full kind of school day. You just need to kind of talk to your teacher, and then you can kind of go down to that space. In secondary, we kind of split into about 3. So there's guidance, which kind of look after your course selections, interpersonal issues. So if you're having some issues with friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it might be, guidance is there for you. Then on the academic side of things, to help you with your courses, your actual, like I'm struggling in science or French or whatever it might be, we have 2 places. We have the resource room, and we have student success, and they're both available. Student success is available for everybody, and it has its own special, like its own room that you kind of access through, and a teacher that's kind of staffed there to kind of help you through some stuff. And then we also have the resource room, which is available for anyone with an IEP. And it's staffed all the time, always open for students. And it's just in conversations with your teacher, and we kind of work out what's best when to access that room. But it is always available and always staffed. So that's a huge advantage for all our students that might need some help at one time or another in dealing with some of their courses and some of the material in the courses. If they haven't quite grasped it, it's there for you. We also have some exciting things coming up. So there is a bunch of changes coming to North Dundas in the next few years that you're going to see if you decide to join us here. The first thing we're working on is an outdoor classroom space. So we've already secured some of the funding for it. We are going to have a full outdoor classroom with a board the teachers can write on, benches, trees and shrubs, flower boxes, everything like that. So it is an outdoor space that we can use as a classroom, especially when it's nice out. We're really excited for that. We're waiting on one other thing before we can actually do it, and it's number 4 on that list there. We are getting a full kind of school exterior renovation in the coming couple years. We can't put the outdoor classroom space until we know exactly what the exterior renovation is. We don't want to put it in and then they have to rip it up. So, but we know it is coming in a couple years. So that will be in your time here. We'll have all new parking lots, redesigning kind of some of the outside spaces. And we're really excited about that. We have maple syrup production in a sugar shack in the works. We happen to be very fortunate, and we have a bunch of maple trees on our property here at the school, and we're going to be actually incorporating that into our science classes and our agriculture schism, where we'll be collecting sap and actually boiling and making our own maple syrup. And the hope is to kind of incorporate into our yearly pancake breakfast that we have for all our students, and we'd actually have our own maple syrup. So that's in the works. That should be ready to go for next year. We've secured all the funding. We've begun purchasing all the materials that we need. So that's definitely going to be something that you will get to be a part of next year. Grow towers in our greenhouse. So we are really fortunate that we actually have a full functioning greenhouse here at North Dundas. We have science classes that go in it, especially as you get into grade 9. We are really looking to revitalize it, to add more to it, to really expand what we're doing in it for all our students, including our grade 7 and 8s. And that's going to be when you're here. We're going to be doing all that. We have some grow towers upstairs, and they're kind of those weird white towers that have plants in. I'm not sure if you might have one at your school now, but we do have those upstairs. But we also have some down in the greenhouse, and we're really looking to expand what we're doing down there. So you'll have a chance for that. And finally, we have a 60th anniversary reunion. And your parents might have been involved with the 50th coming up, and in a few years we'll have a 60th anniversary. We've already started the planning for it, and that's going to be a huge event that our students will be taking part in as well. So really exciting things coming up in the next few years, and I don't think you want to miss out on some of the things that we're going to be doing here. So transitioning to North Dundas. So in a normal year, there's lots of things we do, and unfortunately, starting with tonight, I would rather be in front of you all, kind of doing it together, but unfortunately, we aren't able to do that. So we've had to change some of our transition activities, okay? But we want you all to feel welcome and comfortable starting next September. So the first thing we will be doing is virtual classroom visits by myself. So I will be in the next month or two kind of connecting with your classroom that you're in now, and we'll be doing tours of the school, and it'll give you an opportunity to kind of ask what those spaces are. I'll have kind of the iPad with me and kind of filming as we go, and you can kind of see all the nooks and crannies and kind of how you would come in from the buses and where you would go, all that sort of stuff. So hopefully make you feel a little more comfortable with what the school itself looks like and kind of where you would go. We're anticipating at least that we'll be able to offer some private tours. It will be on very limited availability for those kind of that really need it, high anxiety, not quite sure about coming. We can do that. We haven't been given details on how we can do that yet, but we are anticipating that, and more information about that will be forthcoming once we know. We will have virtual orientations that kind of help you out as we get a little closer. We kind of know the students that are coming, and it won't just be an open house. We'll do more things to kind of get you ready for school. And then we have web orientation activities. And what the web is, it's called We All Belong. It's a program we do where our grade 8 leaders kind of take the lead in kind of helping our grade 7 students as they join us, kind of like a peer leader, kind of meeting with them, answering any questions they might have. We do some different fun activities together. It's a fantastic program. Students that have taken part, maybe some of your older siblings have taken part in it. It's a lot of fun. Unfortunately, this year we weren't able to run it. We are hoping to run it for next year, maybe in a different form, and it may have to be delayed, but the plan is to still use it. And that's a huge transition piece that we can use to help you feel more comfortable coming to us. Stay tuned for that information. Once we know what we can do and when we can do it, we will be implementing, because we do have we find such value in the web program, both for the students that are leading the program, our grade 8 leaders, and also for the grade 7s who are getting to take advantage of kind of some of the wisdom and experience that the grade 8 students have to share. School communication. So we do have a website. So if you go to northdundas.ucdsb.on.ca, you'll find us there. We do put a lot of information up there, including the recording of this open house. We'll put up there. We have a Facebook page, and that's a great place to kind of follow any news we put in. So any announcements we have, any news we do, we always throw it up on the Facebook. So even upcoming orientation things, anything to do with coming back to school, anything, it all goes on Facebook. So if you or your parents have Facebook, it's a great thing to kind of just subscribe to. We won't spam you, we won't fill you with your box. You might get a post a day sort of thing, but it does definitely keep you connected to kind of what we're doing here at the school. We also have an Instagram that's run by our student council. So you'll see the handle right there. That does change each year. This year, that's the handle. Next year, it'll be a slightly different one, and we make sure we communicate that out to our students. And then you can reach myself at my email right there. There's Mr. Barch, our vice principal, his email, and Miss Tate is our office admin, and she is great for answering all sorts of questions. So if you have any questions that maybe don't get answered during tonight's question and answer period, please don't hesitate. Give us or send us an email. I'll get back to you, or Mr. Barchwell or Ms. Tate will, as soon as we can, with an answer, and hopefully we can answer any questions you might have. Finally, we have some frequently asked questions. So we're going to kind of move to the frequently asked questions part. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate, type them in there. What I'll do is I'll kind of go through these 7 questions first, kind of give you a bit of time to think about what questions you might want to answer, and then we'll stay on for as long as we need to kind of answer any questions there are. Talking with some of my colleagues, we've had some schools that it was crickets right from the beginning, and I'm getting pretty good at crickets because we've had a lot of these meetings, even with staff. They were pretty awkward at the beginning, but I'm getting used to the silence, so I can wait you guys out. Hopefully you've got some questions you can type in there for us. But if I go through these, other schools have been an hour or so answering questions. So it just depends on, I guess, how good my presentation was. Would probably be how many questions you might have. But some of the questions, the first one is, how do I know where to go on my first day? And that's a great question when you get here. So we will have teachers and EAs right outside meeting you when you get off the bus. So grade 7, 8 will get off at one spot. The high school kids kind of stay on the bus and get on at a different spot. So those teachers will meet you as soon as you get off the bus. They'll kind of find your name on a list. We'll kind of tell you where to go. There will be other leader students that'll kind of help get you to where you need to be. Some of our student council students will kind of help with that. And then at the end of the day, how do I find my bus after school? That's another big question, because we have a bunch of buses that'll be outside. We'll also have teachers out there. They'll kind of tell you who your bus is, and your bus is going to be the same bus that you came in. So if you take a look at the number when you hop on the bus, it's the same one that you go home on. But Mr. Barch, myself, and we have EAs and teachers outside that actually have lists that'll kind of tell you where to go as well. So all you have to do is look for an adult if you're not sure where to go, and we will direct you on. And I promise we don't let the buses go until all students are on the right bus and ready to go. So we do make sure that you're kind of looked after as well. Any movement within the school on the first day, we're going to have teachers and EAs kind of with you, kind of guiding you where to go. We don't expect you to know where to go. We really help you with that for the first little while until you get familiar with everything. Another common question is, what can I do on my breaks? Okay, so during your lunch breaks and recess, there are a bunch of clubs, intramurals and stuff that run on certain days. And there's a really big yard outside. We do go outside every day, just like you would at elementary school. It doesn't change. But we do have a number of things going on that you can kind of do instead. So again, hoping that next year is a normal year, we'll be able to offer all those different activities, and they're just at different times throughout the week. The fourth question is, can I buy things in the cafeteria? Yes, you can. Now this year, because of some of the restrictions, we actually have had to cease food operations. So we just have a big space right now. But in a normal year, and I'm assuming for September, we'll have the food services open and you can buy things. We have vending machines and also hot lunch service. So you can purchase things, and there's a menu that's listed there for all the different things. There's some pretty popular items, pizza, poutine, things like that tend to be the common ones. But there are also very healthy options as well, depending on what you're into. I don't know how to use a combination lock. What do I do? So, as I said earlier, you are not the only person that's nervous. I would venture a guess that 3/4 of you are probably nervous about the combination lock and just, I don't want to get locked out of my locker on the first day and all that sort of stuff. What we do is we make sure you do have, for those of you that are nervous, we'll make sure we get it to you in advance. And we haven't fully decided what we're going to do because we don't exactly know what orientations are going to look like yet. What I can guarantee you is if you need your lock, we will get it to you before you need it if we're going to be using lockers. And again, that's a question that's up there. It's really something I want you to trust me. I don't want you to worry about it. We will provide the locks to you in advance to practice if we're going to be using them. We've got the key locks, and we also have single number locks. If the 3 number are just not really your thing and you're having a hard time with it, we have those alternatives as well. So no matter what, we'll make sure you're fine with using a locker when we're going to be using it. The 6th question is, will I have friends in my class? The short answer to that is yes, most likely you will. Basically right now we have 3 grade 7 classes, 3 grade 8 classes, and we have 1 class that's a split grade 7-8. Within that, we've got like 2 French immersion classes and 1 core class. So depending on what stream your classes are in, or your friends are in, it would depend how many. It's a great opportunity to make new friends, but at the same time, we do talk to your schools as we're setting up our class lists and kind of getting to know everyone as you're coming over. We talk to your schools and find out who you're friends with, who you work really well with. On the flip side, who maybe you don't work super well with, and we kind of create our class list based on that. So it's not a random thing. We don't just throw your name into a barrel and pull you out for what class you're in. We actually do put quite a bit of thought into how we construct our classes. Obviously, there are some limitations, but we do our best to try and get you with people that you know. But also, we want you to branch out and kind of meet some new people and make some new friends as well. The last frequently asked question I have is, will I get a chance to visit the school before the next school year? Our hope is yes. And once we know that, we'll definitely communicate it. We don't know exactly what it's all going to look like, but what we can assure you is we are going to try our best to prepare you for coming here for September. So whether that be those virtual walkthroughs that I'll be going through with the classes, whether it be different types of orientation activities that we can kind of put together before the end of the year, we want you to be pretty comfortable, and you will have seen all the stuff you're going to see on the first day. So a short answer, we really hope so, but we don't know yet. But no matter what, we're going to try and make you as prepared as possible, whether it be virtually or whether we get to do it face-to-face. So that's the end of that presentation. I'm just going to close that down and come back to the presentation here. There we go. So you should see my face now, hopefully. Okay, so we're back. I know Mr. Barch has been kind of watching the chats. I know a lot of you get pretty excited on the chats and have lots of comments. So hopefully we can kind of keep it to maybe some questions that you might have, if there are any, about joining us here at North Dundas and the school itself. My question is, the first question I see is, how's your day? Well, it's been a good day. It's been a longer one, but it's been a good day. And I'm excited to kind of do this and kind of begin to meet you and kind of begin to remember names as best I can. And I hopefully you're all going to be joining us in September. But no, it was a fantastic day at the high school today, and it was beautiful weather outside, which was kind of nice after the winter. Any other questions at all? Oh, sorry. How many people are in each class? So that's a great question. Depends. Normally we average about, on a normal year, about 25 students in a class. That would probably be the average. This year, obviously, it's been a little lower, and with synchronous students and asynchronous students and everything, it's kind of reduced that a little bit. Oh, this is perfect. We're getting lots of questions now. So about 25, that's where we try and keep it at. How much is the food? Well, let me just see here. We got how many people? I got that one. So now Alexander's asking, are there microwaves in the cafeteria? In a normal year, yes. Now this year we had to remove them just due to health unit concerns, but once those health unit concerns and COVID is kind of over, yes, there are microwaves in the cafeteria. We have 4 of them actually in each of the corners of the room. So yep, and they're accessible to students, so you can kind of warm up your lunch if you want. Is the greenhouse available on the breaks? The greenhouse, Rachel, that's a great question. The greenhouse is available for students in a class. We haven't at this point opened it up for breaks. We are looking at kind of expanding how we're using it and what it might be. There is a spot when you're in high school during breaks where we've got like a bench just outside of the greenhouse and like a tropical garden. So you can sit there, just can't go into the greenhouse unless you have a teacher with you. And that's more of a supervision thing. Can we do fundraisers? We do fundraisers throughout the year for different causes. We have a parent council as well, and they do fundraisers just like your school would. So that's, yep, we do lots of things for that. Is there any way to get a floor plan? There is, and that is something we send out, Aiden, as a welcome package that we'll do. And normally in a normal open house, you've kind of got a map that kind of goes through the floor plan, but we'll definitely be getting that to you as kind of a welcome package. Probably more so when I do our virtual kind of walkthrough of the school when you're with me, because then you can follow along on the map where we're going. So yes, you will get one of those. How much is the food? It's not too bad, Nicole. It's probably, if you bring $5, you can walk away with lunch. Kind of gives you the idea. So that hopefully that kind of helps you out. Let's see. No, I do not, Peyton, know the exact length of the school. I actually don't have a clue. Sorry about that. It is big though, much bigger than probably the school you're coming from. How long is the gym and our sports open? So we actually have 2 spots that we use, Dyson, for sports. Our gym is huge. So it's kind of a double-sized gym. So probably think of the gym you have in your elementary school and then double it. That is pretty much how big our gym is, and then there's a stage on the one end. We also have a multi-purpose room that we can use for things like floor hockey or indoor soccer. It's not, the roof isn't quite as high as in the gym, but it's still a big empty space. It's about the size of 3 classrooms together, and we use that for gym activities as well, especially when we're talking about floor hockey and indoor soccer, because they're perfect for that. How much is lunch? So I answered that one. Normally about $5. If you think $5 will buy you lunch. Cool. Sorry, just give me a second. All of a sudden it went right to the top of the chat. I got to come down a bit. Okay, so what grade do we have to be in to join the garden club? And that's a really good question, Allie. And I think Mr. Barch might have answered that as well. We could definitely do a grade 8 gardening club, and that's something we even talked about today as we kind of revitalize our greenhouse and really get it being used. And it's being used all the time this semester, which we're really excited about, and we want to expand it even more and throw a bunch of cool equipment in there. So yeah, a gardening club for intermediate would definitely be a great idea, and it's something that we'd be interested in getting started with you. So yeah, if you're interested in that, make sure when you join us, you let us know. Okay, so we've got some other things. So Ms. Tate asked about, or answered about those. Do we have hockey? So that's a great question, Hunter, and it looks like we might have had it. We've had it in the past. Depends on how many students and kind of what the league looks like. So it is something we've had in the past. We haven't had it over the last couple of years. This year, obviously, because of COVID. Last year was just due to some numbers. It just depends on the year. So is it possible to join student council? And that is a really great question too. So our student council at this point is our grade 9 to 12, and then we have web, which essentially runs as student council for the grade 7-8s. That doesn't mean that we can't change it, and we have thought about kind of what a different structure would be. If you're interested in kind of student government and kind of running for council and the grade 7-8 council and kind of connecting with the high school council, I think that's a fantastic idea. And we're definitely open to that. Just because we haven't had one in the past or in the past couple of years doesn't mean we won't have one next year if you're interested. So that is a really great idea. I'd love to see students that are interested in student government and kind of helping out with that stuff. So yeah, I think that's definitely something we could look at for next year. Right now, it just kind of is incorporated into the web program, but we could definitely look at what it might look like next year. So we're still going through. Do we have a building class? Oh, that's a great question. And we do. I'm guessing you're talking about tech. And on top of the academic stuff, so we do have a really strong academic program. And I'm sure that's something parents are kind of wondering. We have a full French immersion program all the way to grade 12 where you get your French immersion certificate. We have full sciences all the way through grade 12, full maths, full languages. We have all that sorts of stuff. But we also are extremely fortunate to have an outstanding tech program. So when we're talking about tech, there's 3 types of tech, or actually there's 4, but we've got the automotive tech. So kind of that idea of, think of it like a mechanic, sort of that field. And we have a whole bunch of classes that are involved in that, not just one normal auto class. We have a whole bunch. We also have construction classes. And incorporated in that is a manufacturing welding classes. We have those. We also have IT classes, so kind of like computer tech. And then we have cooking classes. So we have all those different things depending on what you're interested in. We have some amazing tech teachers that kind of take you through that. So yeah, like next year, when we talk about the Sugar Shack, for example, it's our tech program and our construction classes that are going to be building our Sugar Shack. So that's kind of one of the cool things. They built an amazing shed this year, and that was part of their projects. We build different projects for the municipality. So some of the garbage can receptacles, the big steel ones that you might see throughout the municipality, that's our students that have made it. Benches, park benches, things like that, that's our students that have done that. So we have all those different things. If you're interested in that sort of thing, the trades, anything in tech, we have an amazing program for that on top of our normal academic program. So can we play basketball on breaks? Yes, our intermediate yard, even in grade 7-8, we have 3 baskets out there. So yes, that is 100% something you can do. Ball hockey is something we do in, basically we do it in gym classes. So that's one of the sports that we do. Let's see. So I think we did answer those, just going through. Shop classes. Sorry, I'm going through. And that was a great question. Okay, Nicole asks, and I'm not sure if it was answered again. Oh, Mr. Barch did. Honestly, we are really special. And I've been a principal or a vice principal at a number of different high schools throughout our school board. And I can honestly say, I'm not just saying that because I'm the principal here, but we have a really special school here. We have one of the lowest suspension rates in the board. We don't get a lot of bullying. I mean, we've got almost 500 students. There's always going to be issues. We're always going to have some social issues, things like that happen. But as a school itself, this is a fantastic place for you to come. It is a really caring environment. We're big enough that we can offer a lot of programs, but we're still small enough that everyone's going to know your name. Everyone's going to care and kind of look out for you. And I'm not going to say we're perfect because there's always different things that happen, but we do have a really great school and a great group of students, and our behavior levels are not at the levels that I've had in former schools that I've been a part of. So I can say it is a great spot there. It's always a concern, obviously, when you come into a bigger school, but I would like to hopefully kind of ease your mind a little bit that it is a great place, that we don't have a lot of it, for sure. And we don't have a tolerance for it. I mean, everyone needs to feel safe coming to school and feel supported. So, and that's kind of the approach we take. So we've kind of answered some of those. Instruments are in music. So we have a full band. Peyton. So we have Mr. Exner, who's on our staff right now, and he's a full-on music teacher, and he kind of offers it. And we're talking about every single instrument you can pretty much think of, we've got. I know some of these get answered before I get a chance to, because I've got Mr. Barch and Miss Tate kind of doing a great job answering some of the questions. So as I just go through, is there a program for special needs? And that's, yep, there definitely is. I kind of talked about those a little bit. We've got a great special education team, great team of EAs that kind of provide support through our PUP program, and then through downstairs through our resource room. We also have a special program for students with higher special needs that they need more support. We have that program as well. So yeah, we have a huge multi-levels of support for students that might have some special needs in the classroom or just social special needs, things like that. So still going through here. So yeah, we've talked about baseball. Amazing band. Sorry if I missed your question. Is there a chess club? We have had chess club in the past, and I have numerous chess boards upstairs. So that is definitely the opportunity to start that back up. If we have some students that are interested, for sure we could get that going. And I love chess, so I'm sure we can make that happen. Well, that's good to hear, Nicole. I'm glad to, hopefully this presentation has kind of helped. We have a fantastic school. We have a fantastic student body. We do really well in our academic testing. Our success rates for graduates is through the roof. Fantastic that way. It's just a really great place to come to school. And I'm sure a lot of your parents, that would be the memories they have. And me being from just outside the area, so North Dundas has been relatively new to me. I love the fact that so many of our parents, the students we have now, have parents that came here. Most of our teachers all came to school here in the past. So it is a very strong community that we have here, and we're here to support you. Let's see. Track and field. Yep, there's definitely track and field. We have that. I'd love to see Murray. I'm guessing that's I can't wait to go. We can't wait to have you, Murray. Oh, I think I've caught up to the questions so far. So we do have a full sports program, assuming on a normal year. Arts and music. Yep, we have full music. We've done multiple kind of drama music production sort of thing. Obviously, you've got the arts in your classes, but then we have the external, the clubs and all that sort of stuff that go on. Our students put on assemblies throughout the year, all that sort of. So it's not just sports. Sports is a big thing, but there is a number of different areas of interest you can get into. Let's see. Can I explain a bit more about extra credits in grade 7A? And that's a great question, Olivia. So yeah, what we have, they're called reach ahead credits. And what we've done is at different times in different years, it just depends on which teachers we have. We've been able to offer, and it's a high school credit that you're taking. You just get to take it in grade 7 and 8. So you would do it after school. You have to hit so many hours to get a credit. I believe it's 110 hours to get the credit. Now it can be adjusted slightly, but it's kind of in that ballpark. The most common one we do is band. So we have a number of students that are in high school actually right now that took band when they were in grade 7 and grade 8 and grade 9, and they took it after school because they loved band, and it actually gives them credits that they can use towards graduation. So once you get to high school, you need to have 30 credits to graduate. Okay, and there's some different stipulations and stuff, but that's basically what you have to have. This will give you 2 or 1 to start right off the bat. You've already got 2. So that's why it's really advantageous, because you get to do band if you're interested in music. You get to do the program, but you actually get the credit for it in high school as well, even when you're in grade 7. And that's a new thing that you'll get for grade 7. It used to be just in grade 8 that you had to be to get the credits, and they've kind of opened it up for grade 7 and for grade 8 students. So we are fully planning to run the music program next year as an after-school credit, so it will be available to you. We will advertise for it come beginning of September. whether for all the students that are interested, and then we kind of put the class together, and then it would just be like playing a sport or everything else or anything else. You just have practice after school, and those practices count as hours towards your credit. So that's the way that works. Really good question. So the football question, we don't have football right now. And honestly, we won't have football if that's what we're kind of asking. It's not a sport that we offer here at North Dundas. The bus schedule will come out. That's done through STAO, just like it is now at your normal school. It's probably more likely going to come out that last week before school starts, when you'll get your actual who your bus driver is, what the route is, and what time they're going to be picking you up. So that's kind of done through them. Once we register you here at the school and kind of push that through to them, you normally get it in that last week before school. So our times are 8 to 2:10, so we already answered that. How many buses? I'm guessing it was how many buses do we have? I'm gonna guess because I dismiss them each night. I would guess probably about 15 buses or so when we're all said and done. But they're all kind of organized out there, and we really help you out. And your bus will always be in the same spot. So once you learn where your bus is the first time, it's always in the same spot. So you just know where to walk to get on it. Let's see. So yeah, think of, there's lots of ideas about class, and that's fantastic. And we want you to bring those ideas to us. When you start with us, just even in the first week or so, talk to your teacher. And what'll happen is your teacher will kind of talk to me, and we'll kind of try and get something like that going. And kind of see if we can find a teacher that's interested or an adult that's interested in leading that club, and figure out when we're going to do it and all that. So yeah, if you've got any of these ideas for clubs, they're all sound fantastic. Definitely kind of let us know that first couple weeks. Let's see. So one of the questions, David, will I be in the same class with my friends? Most likely some of them. I can't guarantee all of them, David. It just depends. As I said, we have about 3 classes in each grade, and then there's normally a kind of one that's a run over, so 7 classes total in grade 7 and 8. So as you think coming in with grade 7, 3 feeder schools, you will have some of your friends. We do talk to your teachers to figure out who you work well with, who you don't work well with, who you're friends with, all that sort of stuff, and we put it all together. So it's not a random thing. We do our best to kind of put you with friends that we know you'll work well with. It probably won't be all your friends, but it should be most of them. And we also do things in a normal year called blending. So for French immersion students, when you're doing the non-academic side of things, so the things like the arts, your gym, and your French class, well, that will be with French immersion students. But then on the other half of the day, when you have math, English, and science, we mix all the classes up again. So that would be our plan. Whether we're allowed to do it next year, just with kind of some of the protocols, that's to be determined. But that would be our plan going forward. So it's kind of like you have 2 different classes. So even if you don't have your friends in one class, chances are you might have them in your other class in the afternoon or in the morning. Okay. Let's see. So we've kind of answered those. Will students need specific school supplies for grade 7? And my answer to that is no. There's nothing really specific. Pair of running shoes, same as what you would have in this year in grade 6. We provide you with all the materials to come to school. There's nothing extra you need to do. Things like sports and stuff, they might have a cost involved, but that's probably very similar to how you're doing it right now at your elementary school, when we were allowed to have sports. So to be just a student here coming to school every day, no, definitely not. Is it a good idea to maybe have a binder? Yep, that would be great. Think of the regular kind of stuff. If you want your fancy pens or your fancy highlighters or stuff like that, by all means, get that stuff. But no, there is no list or anything like that you have to buy. Nothing like that. We provide you with everything you need for your schooling. It's just if you want the fancy things, we'll get those yourself. But other than that, definitely not. Will we do another call? And yes, we will, Whitney. So I will actually be calling your classes individually and walking through in the next couple months. So we will actually do a walk right through the school. You won't just see my office behind me, but we'll actually kind of walk around the school. I'll show you the hallways. I'll show you the entrances you'll be coming in, all that sort of thing. It might be the best thing I can do besides an actual visit if we're not allowed to do that. So I will walk you through all those spaces, and then it'll give you another opportunity if you've thought of other questions that you might have to kind of ask me then, and I'll definitely answer them for you. So I kind of, hopefully, Isaac, that kind of answers your question as well. Will we get to do a tour? We'd love to, and if we're allowed to, we definitely will. We'll bring you over. It just, we're not sure at this point what we'll be allowed to do quite yet. That's fantastic, Holly. We're excited to have you come. So all those clubs, for sure, guys, definitely let us know. We're open to all these things. As long as they're appropriate for school, we're open to them, and we can see what we can figure out next year when you're here. So yeah, oftentimes our club list changes each year because we have different students that are interested in different things. So Tess is, do we have to do sports? Definitely not. You need to do gym class, just like you have to do this year, but you don't have to do sports at all. So Nicole, are we going to have every subject in one day, or like today, English, math, and science? No, it is right now. Right now, what it is you have mornings is one half of the day, and then your afternoons would be the other half. So it's not where you have to do, you do every subject in every day, sort of thing for grades 7 and 8. So you will have math every day, you'll have English every day, and so on. It just, you might be in a different class. This year you're not, you're in the same class all day long. If it becomes a normal year, we might switch that around a little bit. Okay, so we've already missed Tate. Okay, so that's answered. I'm just kind of going through here. So cell phone policies, Alexander, is kind of the exact same as it would be. The actual cell phone policy is provincial policy. So we have a red light, yellow light, green light policy here. If the red light is up, the red light is up. It means you don't have your phone, it's put away. If the yellow light's up, it means you're asking your teacher if you're allowed to use it at that point, and that might be you've got all your work done or whatever. Green light is up, it means yes, you can use it. So things like at lunchtime, you can definitely use your phone. Now, we've got the same policies you would have in elementary school for things like online bullying and stuff like that. But there are times you can definitely use your phone, let's say for listening to music. There are times where your teacher might use it for class, right? Where you're doing something like a Kahoot and you've got your phone and you can go on that way. So it depends on the class, it depends on the time. And number one thing is up to your teacher and the teacher you have. And when the teacher says it's time to go away, it goes away. Otherwise, it becomes an issue. And Mr. Barsh and myself are called, and we have to go up and deal with that. So it would be very similar because it's a kind of a board policy, Alexander, when we're talking about cell phones. So it doesn't matter whether it's elementary school or high school. It's the same policy. So going through, I notice we're beginning to get a little more distracted in our comments. But you guys have asked some perfect questions. I'm really impressed with some of the questions that you guys have asked. So very happy about that. So it is 8:04. It doesn't mean we can't go longer. We definitely can. I'm just wondering, is there any other questions about school next year? I will talk to you again in the next month or two. We haven't exactly nailed down the dates, but over the next little bit, I'll be phoning into your classes and we'll have some time where we'll walk through the school and you can answer me 1,000 more questions if you want. Is there a canteen? So we do actually have a cafeteria, yes. So in a normal year, yep, in the cafeteria, it's open in the morning all the way through until the end of lunch, where you can buy your lunch. There's also vending machines where you can get drinks and kind of snacks sort of thing, but they are right there. And you have access to those. So Fortnite Club, Dyson, yep, that could definitely be a possibility. I know it's popped up a few times, and so that is a possibility. Any other questions? Perfect. Oh, I had one. Oh, getting no's. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thank you very much, Tracy. Appreciate it. So definitely, if you have any other questions at all, just send me an email. I'll get back to you as soon as you can, as soon as I can, with an answer for you. But again, I will kind of meet up again in about a month or two. Do we still? We do. We have all those different things, Nicole, all those fun activity days. We have those every month. We have different spirit days. We just competed in another spirit day with Seaway High School. That we were, and we actually won this one. We lost the first one but we won the last one. So we're doing lots of competitions either with other schools or just within our own school. And then the staff is always competing against the students to try and to beat them in whatever the special event is that day. So yeah, there's lots of things going on here every week. We try and make school as fun as we possibly can. So thank you very much, everyone that's joined us. We will actually post this on our website. So if you're wondering if you want to see the presentation again, or if you wanted to watch the video, it'll all be posted on our website within the next couple of days. I really appreciate you all joining us. And please, again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us and we'll get back to you. Thanks, everyone. Have a fantastic night. Really appreciated you joining us.